Hi, I'm Shakiba.
And I'm Marianne.
I'm a lead architect at SC Design Build, and welcome to episode 4 of
Do
Do You
you
DADU?
DADU?
In the last episode, we talked about design, how a DADU takes shape around the site, the homeowner's goals, and the way they went to lead. Today, we're talking about what happens next, how that design becomes a real building. We'll walk through permitting, budgeting, contractor coordination, scheduling, construction, and what homeowners should expect along the way. I'm joined by Marianne Fitzwilliam, designer and construction coordinator at SC Design Build, to talk about what to expect through the process of building a DADU. Marianne, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, Marianne, before we start talking about permitting and construction, I want to begin with something that I think really defines how we approach projects here at SC. We are a design build firm, which means design and construction aren't treated as separate phases. Can you explain how this integrated approach benefits our clients?
Yeah, so as an architect led design build firm, we move through all phases of design and construction as a team. This approach is really beneficial to our clients because construction factors like budget and schedule are part of the conversation from the very beginning. And our knowledge of construction feeds into the design. So our clients are making informed decisions throughout the process, reducing surprises later on. And our goal is to keep the design intent and clients' goals intact, which can often get lost in a more traditional design bid build format where things might have to change because of construction factors. But yeah, these are things that we approach the project with and ultimately show themselves in the final product because our projects are designed to be built.
Yeah, I think that's especially valuable with DADUs because every site is different, and having our clients and contractors working together from day one helps us find creative solutions that are both practical and cost effective.
Totally.
And once we complete schematic design, we usually have the big ideas in place, like the general layout of a DADU, the massing, the relationship to the site and main house, and the overall design direction. And this is when we move into design development and permit coordination phase. At this stage, we begin resolving the technical requirements behind the design, including site development, grading, drainage, utility connections, and code compliance, structural design, and coordination with consultants. The goal is to turn the approved design concept into a complete permit package that can be reviewed by the city and eventually built in the field. Marianne, from your perspective, what should homeowners understand about this phase, and who needs to be involved, and what kind of coordinations happens behind the scenes? And like, what should they basically expect once the project is submitted for a permit review?
So once the DADU design is finalized, we'll move into the permitting process. And depending on which city you live in, the timeline might be slightly different, but usually the permitting process is between 8 to 10 weeks to get over the final finish line. During that time, we complete the construction document set. Depending on the size and the complexity of your DADU, construction times vary, but in general, I would expect between 9 to 18 months from construction start to finish. And then the construction document phase is where we really dial in the design. So we're finalizing all of the details, elevations, finishes. We're making all of our selections and specifications with our client. And this is really the fun part for our client. You get to shop. We get to shop for you. And
It's
then
the fun part, I think, for us too.
Totally. And then this way, so once we receive our final approved permit, we're ready to start construction. So we're not missing any time in between.
Yeah, and that's really why we spend so much time coordinating everything before construction ever begins. what homeowners don't always see is how many conversations are happening behind the scenes. Budget is obviously one of the biggest consideration for a DADU project. Even though these are smaller homes, they still include all the systems and complexity of a full house. Can you tell us how do we help clients understand costs early and keep the design aligned with and with what they are comfortable investing, basically?
Yeah, so I think especially with DADUs, budget is a really important factor in the design and construction process. Something that our clients and our team are sensitive to, and especially because DADUs are smaller. I think that's something that should be considered is that by building this DADU, you're continuing to invest in your property. And with the upfront costs of construction, there's also overall returns on your investment, whether that means using sustainable design and construction practices to reduce your overall costs of maintaining the property or using it as a long-term rental or workplace studio. You're adding value to your property. And it's kind of hard to nail down a number to think about on your DADU because every single one is so unique. But this is something that we hold on to the budget through the whole process, and it's something that is a constant thread. So we're happy to chat with potential clients about their budget and needs and see where we can strike a balance between the two.
We talked about pre-approved plans in our last episodes. Do you see them as a good way to mitigate a tight timeline or budget?
Definitely. I think a tool that people might not be aware of or exercising are those pre-approved building plans to develop a DADU. These are created by local designers and architects. Pre-approved plans offer a faster, easier, and more predictable permitting process for creating a DADU because a building permit is already approved. In most cases, you're slicing your permit timeline almost in half.
For some clients, the design process is a bit stressful, and knowing or seeing the final layout and outcome can make it easier for them, and they feel more comfortable to start the process.
Yeah.
Let's talk about construction. We talked about permitting and construction document phase, and now let's imagine we are in the construction phase. Once construction starts, what changes for the homeowners day to day?
Our clients have busy lives full of family and work obligations. And I think homeowners should expect some temporary disruption during construction, like noise, deliveries, site access, and inspections, things like that. But our job is to keep clients informed about what's happening, what comes next, and when their input is needed. So regular communication helps the process feel much more manageable.
You talked about the communication. How do we keep communicating with our clients when the construction starts?
One thing I think clients appreciate is that we don't just manage the project, we bring them into the process because a certain level of communication is so important during construction. We have weekly OAC meetings on site. So OAC stands for Owner, Architect, Contractor. And these are often a meeting on site with our team, our client, and the key subcontractors or superintendents on the project at that time. These are focused on quality control. We can make material selections on site, answering questions, asking questions so that you really feel like more ownership in the process and we are guiding you through that. Many of our clients are doing this for the very first time, whether that's a DADU or a different type of project. And as a team, we will meet you where you're at to help you understand the process so you know what to expect.
How do we help clients understand what phase the project is in and what decisions are coming next?
Schedule is another very important part of each project. We sequence our projects carefully and have a group of subcontractors that we trust and we've enjoyed working with over the years, ready on the sidelines to jump in when they're needed. So schedule is something that can have ripple effects. So we're sending frequent updates to our clients so they know what to expect throughout the process. Our job is to communicate the design and clients' needs to our construction team, and we collaborate with them on and off site to see the vision come to life. One part that is stressful for clients is going out and looking for a construction company to build what has been designed. And this is where the design build format is great because we're there with you through the whole process and we see it through.
Is there one sentence you find yourself saying on almost every project? I'm laughing because I know that sentence.
Yeah, I would say there is no such thing as a small project. Every single project needs a certain level of attention to detail and care and collaboration, the whole process. So, yeah, I would say that no matter, like, regardless of the size of your project, it is probably the same amount of work for us.
A successful DADU isn't the result of one great design or one great contractor. It's the result of hundreds of conversations, thoughtful collaboration, and clear communication happening behind the scenes. Marianne, thank you for sharing your perspective on how design turns possibly into a home. Thank you everyone for joining us for episode 4 of Do You DADU. You can find more information about our book at suzannezar.com.
Thank you.
Do you do DADU?
Do you, Dadu?
Do you DADU?
I do, Dadu.